short track action. But before that main course, how about a 4-lap lone qualifying appetizer chock full of enough gullet-filling bonus points to satisfy any driver's championship cravings? John, let's call the waitress over in order. What do you say?
Well, this is where I become that annoying dinner date and ask the waitress to come back in 5 minutes. I'm still trying to decide what I want, just because we're at a track that you got 3 different corners. I know you got turn 1 down there, and then I know there's a dog leg, but by God, that's a corner going through the middle. I mean, it's almost like a short track version of Pocono, and it's going to keep you spinning. I just got off this track with these guys, and man, I'm telling you, each corner is a challenge unto its own. They're not similar in any way, shape, or form, and it's got to keep these boys on their toes tonight.
A mini version of Pocono. That's exactly what it looks like on the trap map. Hey, tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Gargamel's Kitchen, a food-grade nitrous oxide provider located in Denver, Colorado, and a proud sponsor of the Bootleg Racing League. Visit their office at 2045 South Valencia Street or give them a call at 720-707-6178. Certainly enjoy Gargamel's gas in the kitchen. And let's talk about the gas these guys have been putting down in the points. 23 driver, different names fill up the standings so far this season. On the heels of the fastest qualifying, J.R. Shepard jumps to the lead. Justin Morton is trying to blame the sweet, innocent little girl on his, with a yellow slicker and an umbrella on his Morton Saltmobile for his problems last round. That's weak sauce, Salty. Let's see if he goes ahead and keeps that scheme or if he changes it up. Donnie Moore was 5th again, but that was good enough to give him sole possession of 4th place. The butcher of Baton Rouge, Joe Snyder, has the best starting position average of any driver this season, and that's being 3rd, but he got a little bit of a hand slap for being a little too cleaver happy last round. Coming off a win, Kenny Kibbe climbs 5 spots, and he's back here again tonight. Keep an eye on the Chief, Stephen Hilbert. He's just a handful and a finger out of the top 10. And a name to watch. He's not here, but I want you to keep an eye all season long on Matthew Lemieux. Much faster. He's buried in 21st, but he's much faster than his times show. Time for qualifying.
Speaking of Gargamel's Kitchen and huffing the gas, and have the gas, I think whoever designed this track had been huffing a little gas or drinking something or whatever. This is such a crazy track to get around it. Like I said, it's like a teeny tiny Pocono with some banking to it, and you hit these corners. I mean, when we were just out there, I felt like I was just turning the wheel like almost the whole lap, except for maybe in front of the flag stand. Once you got past the flag stand, I felt like I was turning the entire time.
Coming in, Tim Shanowski up at the top right now. Don't know if that's going to hold. Riding now, looking at Thunhurst.
And he goes to the top of the board. 15:75. That's a pretty quick time there to be averaging around this little track. The 4-lap average, real quick, we should touch on it, Sue. It's not as easy as it sounds. You know, you've got to get around this track, and you can try to be aggressive, and you can get a great 1 lap, but you might end up hurting your other laps. You've got to try to be consistent, and if you do something, let's say you push a little bit coming out of turn 4, you get out and touch the wall and maybe get what we call an incident point. All of a sudden, all 4 of your laps go by the wayside. They're gone. You don't get any laps or anything like that. So there is a little bit of skill here. It's just not go out there and put your foot down and turn left. You've really got to work for 4 complete laps.
We have a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, about 12 or 13 drivers able to put in qualifying times.
And Salty, he went back to his regular paint scheme, but it might have worked. So far, he's timed in second quick with a 15.76. But we're still waiting on perennial favorites, including last week's winner, Kenny Kibbe, and then J.R. Shepard, Austin Belke, Adam Shane. Those guys are all still waiting to get lap times from, but we also have Jeffrey Harden, who was pretty strong in that modified race just a little while ago, and Jason Menda also waiting for his time to come in.
Now more qualifying times coming in.
There goes Kibbe.
Going to pull back the curtain here on our director if he could check his feed again, make sure that's being sent through.
So far, Kenny Kibbe is continuing that momentum. He is quickest of all the qualifiers. He timed in with a 15.73 compared to Matthew Thunhorse 15.75. So pretty tight. Justin Morton was a 15.76, and looks like JR put a time in. That's going to be a 15.79. So you got four really, really quick guys. You can throw Jason Menda in there, all under a tenth. You got to go all the way back to Tim Shanowski. So 6 cars timed in within a tenth of each other at the top of the board.
I'm here just dealing with a few technical issues, folks. Enjoy the silence. You can take a moment to contemplate the meaning of life. All right, we're good to go. Let's get back here. Now they're out for practice. We look at the grid, and well, Austin Belke was indeed fast and qualified, or Kenny Kibbe. It looks like Austin Belke. Am I looking at this, John, as I get back up to speed here? Is he going to be our pole sitter?
Let me hop out of the car. I was actually...
Oh. Well, there we go. Yep. Okay, so Kibbe was fast. As we go down to 10th, it is indeed Belke.
Yeah,
Sad.
Belke and Donnie Moore on that front row. That's going to be pretty formidable for anybody to get around either one of those guys.
There you go. Bonus points for the top 6. So Kenny gets a nice lump. I believe it's 10 for the first place. Thunhurst will get 8. Morton will get 6. Shepard 4. Menda 2. And Tim Shanowski gets a singlet. All right, we talked about this early. Do we dare try to pull, since Austin's on the pole? Do you think he'll talk to us? I'm sure Austin will love to talk to anybody. Can we bring him in, do you think? Or is that not doable?
Bring him up.
Let's go ahead. Always like to talk to the pole sitter.
I'm looking for him.
There we go. We're going to bring him in. Austin Belke, you got a copy? Sorry to interrupt you in the middle of practice there, but I know how much this little practice section means to you, so I know you don't mind talking to us.
Hey, Soup, yeah, not at all.
Nice job of sandbagging, baby. Put it in 10th.
Dude, that is the hardest I have ever tried to qualify one of these cars. The first time, I hit the nail on the head.
What's the racing line? Down low, up high, tires? What's the story?
Oh, it's got to be down low. You really have to conserve your tires. I did a 25-lap run earlier. Yeah, here I'm spinning out because I'm talking to you guys. No worries. Did a 25-lap run earlier. It was down at 90%, so tire wear are going to be crucial in this car. You want to be on the bottom. If missing the apex or the bottom, it's going to add like tenths of a second to your lap time.
Okay, man, the record so far this season for the pole sitter holding the lead, 25 laps. Let's see what you can do. You got some big guys behind you.
Yeah, boy, I hope so. This car is pretty squirrely, especially on new tires. It's really easy to light up the rear end, so hopefully we can bring this Jacqueline car home in one piece.
All right. Go out there and try to keep the car going straight. Good luck.
Thank you, Soup.
Austin Belke, our 10th place qualifier, be sitting on the pole. And honestly, I think that 25-lap record is going to fall tonight. I think Belke's going to be pretty comfortable out there. John, do you believe him when he said he was working hard?
Oh, absolutely. This track, like I said, it keeps you busy. About the only time you got that wheel straight is when you're on that front straightaway, and that's only for about a second, maybe second and a half.
All right, they're lining up for the grid. Let's do this a row at a time. On the pole, it is Kenny Kibbe. He's going to be flanked by, well, look at this, Matthew Thunhorst. Oh, no, I have this wrong. Okay, sorry. It is going to be Austin Belke. He is flanked by Donnie Moore.
In the second row will be the number 57. That's Mark Herzog. And next to him, it's going to be the number 7. That's Chris Davis.
All right. Watch out for Davis. I have my scouts are telling me he is really, really good at this track. Tim Shanowski and Jason Menn to fill up the next row.
Following them in the fourth row is going to be J.R. Shepard and Justin Morton.
Look at the big names back here. J.R. Shepard, Justin Morton, and then the final back there in the fifth row, Matthew Thunhorst and Kenny Kibbe. Then, John, the guys who didn't make the inversion.
Yep, the first one that didn't make it is going to be Matt Shanowski. He's going to be starting 11th, and to his outside in the 12th position, that's going to be Joe Snyder.
In the Baker's Dozen spot is Joe Segala. He's going to be inside of Ruben Altice.
And in the 8th row will be starting 15th will be the 87 of Todd Liston, and next to him will be the 17 of Chris Wolfson.
Bruce Pearson, Jeffrey Harden, and Adam Shane wrap up your 19-car field. 100 laps on tap. I'm glad you're here with us for round number 4 of 11. How long will Kenny Kibbe keep the lead? I'm sorry, how long will Austin Belke keep the lead? How long will it take Kibbe and those guys to come through? Pace car ducks in. Belke in control. Veteran Donnie Moore to his outside. Chug-a-lug, makes you want to Idaho! Great run from Belke. Moore is in trouble right away, John. That yellow car of Mark Herzog trying to get in there. He can't do it. Stuck on the outside is the 7 of Chris Davis. He's trying to find his way in, see if he can tuck in front of the 07 of Matt Shanowski running in 5th. Shanowski is side by side. Outside of him, it's Jason Menden, that dark colored car. Great racing up front. Clean so far.
Yeah, and being on the outside is a big disadvantage. We even heard Austin say it in that pre-race interview. You want to be on the bottom. And those guys that are stuck out there with Menda, and actually Morton's out there too, they need to find a hole to get themselves down into that bottom lane as fast as they can.
They're single file up front. J.R. Shepard has worked his way up into what would be the 7th position now. Action behind Shepard, the 45. That's Menda trying to find Menda Roos squiggling, trying to keep the car going straight as he's stuck on the outside of that Alliance yellow number 8 car of Matthew Thunhorst, who tucks down now into 7th position.
Yeah, Morton is able to tuck in behind Kenny Kibbe there for 10th, and we got a caution.
Looks like it is the 39. It's the Butcher. The Butcher Baton Rouge, Joseph Snyder. Car got loose and he straightened it out, and then he kind of slid the driver's side into the inside wall.
Yeah, and right there is such a tricky part of the track because you can see and you want to just mat it. You want to get it all the way to the floor, but guess what? It doesn't work that way. That I don't want to. I guess banking can almost. It's almost like going up over a hill. It makes the back end get really light through there if you try to do it, and when you do, you end up going sideways just like he did and hitting those inside walls.
Scala did a good job of getting out of trouble. Joe needs a break. Joe has not seen a lot of luck so far this season. Well, we take a quick look at who has actually made up positions in the little bit of green flag run that we had. Shepard's up a spot. Matthew Thunhorst is up 2 spots. Trying to stay with him is Kenny Kibbe. He's gone from 10th into 9th. Guys who've been struggling. Well, we saw Jason Mendes stuck on the high side. That cost him 2 positions as he started in 6th, back in 8th.
And I can promise you, he's looking to see where he's going to make this restart. He's seen he's on the outside again and already probably going, oh no. But some of those guys that made up spots, my guess is like a J.R. Shepherd, he's going to be on the outside now. It'll be neat to see how quick he can get himself back down and see if those guys behind him, being Thunhorse, Menda, Kibbe, can take advantage of him being on the outside.
Then we drop all the way back. Take a look at the early season point leader, the number 9. All right, as we nice look at the number 9 car, we can get a close-up look at this livery. I got to admit, it is a nice-looking car. It maybe looks a little faster than the little girl in the yellow slicker and the umbrella. Time to go racing again. Austin Belke. Can he get to lap 25? Well, he's got to lap 10, and he's still out in front. Look at 3 wide back there for what would be 5th position. Shepherd gets out of that. He squirts out of the middle like the toothpaste out of the tube.
Yeah, it looked like Chris Davis in the 7 overdrove the turn 1 there, went up the track, allowed JR to stick his nose in there, make it 3 wide and complete the pass. And now JR is up to 4, so he got 2 more on that restart.
Chris Davis running in 5th position. And gosh darn it, Menda is stuck on the outside again in the 45.
Yeah, he sure is. And then those guys are filling those gaps up behind Tim Shanowski there. So the first gap is actually all the way back where Morton is. So unless he can squeeze his way down in there, he may lose a couple more spots here.
One yellow so far. You might have heard that. We got a little thunder going on here in in Concord. Don't know if that came over the mic.
Wow.
Doesn't stop the racing, though.
Well, all I'm going to say is you better have a generator, because I don't want to be the lead and the color here.
Holy moly. We'll see if everyone makes it to the end of the race, and I'm not talking about the drivers. All right. Let's focus our attention back out on the track. Boy, it is single file like you thought it would be, John. They are just tucked in. They're going now.
Yeah, and now this is a case of getting and applying pressure. You know, you don't want to get up behind somebody and turn them, which is, you know, something you can do here because you got 3 different corners and 3 different braking zones, and much like a road course. So what you're doing is trying to put pressure, get them to make a mistake, maybe get them to drive a little harder into one where they wash up and you can turn down and get your nose inside. The same thing going through, go down to turn number, I'm going to call it 3. This is a 3-turn track. Down here's turn 3. And, you know, you can get them to overdrive turn 3. Turn 2, I think, is just kind of off limits. That's where you can really set a guy up to pass, get a good run through there. And right now you see, you know, everybody's just kind of playing nice right now early on. Long way to go, but this track is going to challenge them, especially when these tires start to fall off here.
Tim Shanowski just got stuck on the high side, and he got freight trained first by Matthew Thunhorst, then by Kenny Kibbe, and Justin Morton tucked in there as well. So move the 07 of Tim Shanowski down into what would be now 9th position.
Yeah, and I got a feeling we'll see a lot of that. Like I said, once the tires start wearing, we're working lap 21 right now. The guys are probably just now starting to feel a little difference, a little give in their tires. Give it another probably about 20, 25 laps, and all of a sudden, they're going to have to start woeing the corners up and braking a lot earlier just to get these cars to turn in these corners.
There's sorry to interrupt, but I talked about hungry drivers, and our director has found the one that, that is Shepherd that almost gets into the back. I'm talking about the yellow car, the 57 out there. That is Mark Herzog. Man, he was on the back of Donnie Moore trying to find a way around it. I think he actually got there, but then he got a little bit loose. He had to slow down. Shepherd almost got into the back of him, and that's allowed Chris Davis. Watch that 7. I'm telling you, the 7 is sneaky fast.
Yeah, and that's good awareness by JR to avoid really getting in, causing a big wreck there. I mean, no fault of his own if he had, but, you know, you're right, though. That 57 of Herzog he looks pretty eager to get himself around that number 26 there of Donnie Moore.
Write a new page in the record book as Austin Belke comes across the line working lap 26, and he's still out in front.
And that's as you predicted. You figured that would fall tonight with Austin being up there on that pole, and you were absolutely right. And Austin doesn't show any signs either of giving that lead up anytime soon.
He's racing comfortably now out there. Donnie Moore losing touch with him. We like to move through the field, but honestly, the best action I think right now is the battle for second with Mark Herzog trying to find a way, and then he's got Shepard back there lurking back behind him.
Yeah, now Herzog is playing offense and defense here. He's trying to figure out a way to get around Donnie Moore there, but if he does or makes a mistake and slips a little bit, he's going to lose his spot and go back to fourth probably, and JR is going to end up third.
Okay, we're going to leave this for just a second. I want to go to the 94. No, let me correct that. I'm sorry. That's not where I want to go. I want to go to the 44. Learn your numbers, Soup. We're talking about Jeffrey Harden having a nice race, up 5 spots, currently in 13th position.
Yeah, I raced around Jeff just a little bit in that modified race that preceded this, and then he was getting around here pretty good. He was pretty solid, pretty consistent in all 3 corners, and I really believe that's what you have to do to be fast here, and especially at the end. Look for that 44. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. I know he's 13th now. I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see him in the top 10 or maybe even well into the top 10 by the time this is over.
Let's look at the 8. You don't often see Matthew Thunhorst being challenged, but my goodness, 14 has been all over him. That's Kibbe trying to find a way around. Maybe it's because Thunhorst is being held up by Davis.
Oh, yeah, Davis is all right. There's your mistake.
There it is. Boy, Davis was working that 7 car really hard. I think he knew he was in trouble. Now it's freight train time. Chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug. There comes the 14. Watch Salty Morton bring the 9 in there as well. The 07 of Tim Shanowski. No! Shanowski gets in the back of Morton. It's hard, Mom and Dad won't you stay up late, but the one night you do get to stay up late is Friday night. So here's what I want you to do. Join us on VGN Friday nights at 7:10 Eastern for the Bootleg Racing League's Dirt Street Stock Series. It's always a fun night of dirt track action, hosted by DJ Clark. Man, he is very smooth behind the mic. Austin Belke, and John sometimes does that one as well.
Yeah, sometimes I break into the booth and don't give them any choice but to let me talk. So it works out some weeks probably doesn't.
But then also, if Mom and Dad will let you stay up late, you can also catch the NASCAR, the National Sprint Car Trail live at 10:30 Eastern on VGN. That's a good one too. Pace car is in. Let's stop talking about Friday night. Let's stop talking about Saturday. And it is Austin Belke continues to lead. Now J.R. Shepard's got some work to do because he's stuck up top. And there's that. I told you that 57 of Mark Herzog, he's not going to surrender that position. Trying as hard as he can to keep that yellow car in 3rd place. Look at the drive from Shepard off of that final corner across the finish line. Oh, they bump, they bang, they're sideways. Shepard manages to keep it straight. That's some good racing behind them. Thunhorst now is on the inside, and that's Kibbe on the outside. Great racing back for 3rd position. More banging going on, John. And more banging, and too much banging. But Shepard keeps it going straight. No yellow. Just a loss of a ton of positions for the 98.
You could just see that building over a lap or two. Those guys were driving so hard in, and JR, he knew he had to try to get around him because Thunhorst was filling that gap. So JR didn't want to get freight train, so he was driving it for all it was worth on the outside, and Herzog was doing the same on the inside, and it looked like Herzog washed up a little bit. And then now JR's got to get his wits back about him, take a deep breath, and go back to work here.
When we get to the end of the season and we're counting up the points, remember the last 5 minutes, as your point leader now has been bumped all the way back to 9th position. He's still got plenty of time to get up there. But, John, it's one thing driving through the field of the guys that qualified slower than you. He's got to go through some big names to get back up there. He's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, and some guys that didn't even get a good qualifying but run good. We talked earlier about Jeff Harden, and I predicted he'd be in the top 10. Well, guess what? He's running 8th right in front of JR. And, you know, he can get around here, you know, probably getting into a rhythm, getting a feel for his car. So once if JR can get back to him, that's not an easy pass. Segala is having a good run, so you know he's up on the wheel. That's not an easy pass, and it only gets harder from there.
Let's go to the 87 real quick. Poor Todd Liston. He's been forced to the outside. He's banged the wall twice since I've been watching him. The 2 cars that just got by him was the 22 of Bruce Pearson and the 7 of Chris Davis. Now he's stuck on the outside. There's the 94. Remember, the 94 was involved in that incident. Matt Shanelski, and he gives him a little elbow. That's a little bit of a hockey hip check, but they keep going. That sends the 87 of Liston into the wall. And now the 17 gets underneath him, Chris Wolfson. Holy moly.
Yeah, Todd's probably shaking his head at this point saying, what is going on here? You know, he's trying to stay off of people and get run into, but, you know, it's close quarters racing. This is one of the smaller tracks these folks will go to, and, yeah, they're running it like that.
That settles down a little bit, and now we're looking at another great battle. This is the 81 of Joe Segala. He's racing in 7th. He's got the 44 behind him. Started in 18th, up to 8. Who am I talking about? Well, it's none other than Jeffrey Harden. We saw him working his way through the field, and he continues to do so.
Yeah, he does. Very consistent around this track. When I was around him, he was doing a good job. But, boy, we got even a better battle up there for
Let's
third.
go to the 8. Yeah, this is Thunder's. Oh, man, he's got a nose inside. Mark Herzog, who had that battle with Shepard. And now Thunhorse is trying to get around. I think Thunder says, man, if I can get around you, Herzog, then it's just clear sailing up to the guys in front, and I can get up some points. My rival in the standings is way back in the grid right now.
Yeah, and Herzog now knows that he's probably a little slower than what Thunhorse is. I'm watching him drive. He's driving way harder than what he needs to, and he's going to eat those tires up, and then he's been pushing really bad here off of turn 3. And there you go.
Here we go. This is the run. Let's see if he takes it in deep. He does not. He's playing very cautious, slowing down, and that lets let Kibby get a look to the outside. Nothing's going to happen on the outside, but Kibby says, I don't know. Kibby making up some ground, John.
Yeah, he is, and I don't know. That's the first guy we'll see that goes to that outside and kind of makes it work.
Well, he hasn't made it work yet, but I give him credit for making a legitimate effort and maybe found a little bit of the wall there.
It's easy to do because you want to be able to arc the car into that corner as much as you can and swing it out. You catch that wall so easy. I think I did it 2 or 3 times in 70 laps in that modified race.
Friends and family of the 26 Donnie Moore has got to be saying, what do we got to do to get some screen time? We're racing in 2nd position. We're having a great race, but you're not showing us. Donnie, we see you, baby. They're coming, though. You are the hare, and they are the hounds. I don't think it's going to be long till the chef's cooking up the Hastenpfeffer.
Yeah, and the lap car of Todd Liston's going really slow. Looks like he's just going to get up and get out of the way. He looks to have some damage on the front of that car.
A little bump as he's probably, we're looking at more, but behind him. Kibby, all right, let's drop back because here comes the 8 now. 8's got at least a quarter of the car inside. He's got a lane, but he just can't get the momentum on that inside line. Even the second line out, John, that Mark Herzog has to take sometimes seems to have good momentum. And here comes Kibby again, try the outside line.
Yeah, and what happens there is the 8 gets to the inside, and to really go faster, when you come out of any one of the 3 corners, you want to drift out to the wall. That's how you build speed. And when you got somebody out there, you can't drift out there and make a good run. And Herzog gets into the wall pretty hard here. But now that's opened the door for Kenny. And Kenny is now ahead of Thunhorse, albeit by about a half a car.
I was told by, you know what? And I think Kibby might have been able to finish that pass, but he got held up from the 57. Boy, but he's still making it work. Great racing going on as they battle for what would be 4th position as they hope to try to get up to Herzog if they can. They're still side by side. They've been side by side for 5-6 laps maybe.
Yeah, they have. And I got to wonder what this is doing to Thunhorse's tires between trying to get around Herzog and now having Kenny hold him down to the inside, which means he's working those tires a lot harder to keep that car planted on the bottom. And now look at that. Kibby's got it wholesale.
Yeah, I think Thunhorse said enough of this. All right. Now let's see what Kibby can do with the very pesky Mark Herzog.
And lap traffic is gonna be catching these guys. These guys will be catching lap traffic. I don't know, 3-4 laps right out the windshield of our leader, and those guys are running side by side. So, you know, Kenny can maybe see an opportunity here to maybe use one of those guys as a pick to get around that 57.
Taking a quick. Got a nice, looking at a nice on board there. I'm strolling through the field looking for, oh, there he is. Of course, I couldn't find Shepard because I was looking too deep in the field. Shepard has already worked his way back up into 6th spot.
It's a good recovery after getting turned there.
Indeed. All right, let's look at the 22 real quick. I got to highlight drivers who do a good job of getting out of the way. This is Bruce Pearson at the 22. If you're a fan of baseball movies and you've never seen the movie Bang the Drum Slowly, it's one of Robert De Niro's first films. He plays a catcher. His character's name, Bruce Pearson. I always think of that when I see Bruce out there. Check that one out. It's a good flick, 70s. Let's go to the 14 again. My gosh, I think Kibby thinks because he got her. Now, the Butcher got in trouble last time for being a little aggressive, and I'm talking about Snyder there, the Butcher of Baton Rouge, working on the back of the 07 of Sanoski.
Yeah, this track is real tough. When you're faster than somebody, you got 3 corners to figure it out, just not 2 ends of the track, and you get that opportunity 3 times to maybe make some ground up. It's real hard to stay patient because if you're faster than somebody, it's pretty obvious that you're quicker, and you know, you get that whole mentality of get out of my way. But you know, the Sanowski's under no obligation to do that either.
Well, I'll tell you, Austin Belke is cooking with hot fish grease right now. Whoa. See, continues to work through the field. He's got lap traffic. Now, not only does he have a lead, John, but he's got a cushion of lap cars behind him.
Yeah, and those leaders caught him. Look at Kibby.
Yep, Kibby got into it. He was trying to get around the lap cars. He was in a traffic jam, and the 87 got the worst of it. Todd Liston had his bell rung as he put it into the outside wall.
Yeah, it looked like Kenny tried to take a 3 wide there, and then Herzog and didn't realize it. And I mean, that was just a racing deal right there. Now you can't really put that one on anybody.
Well, I could kind of put it on the 14, but poor guy's in a hurry.
He's in a hurry, and you know he knows he's quicker than the 57. Yeah. You know we're on lap 77. These laps click off here fast, so he's got to make work. But now, here's the thing about where Kibby's going to be. I think it put Thunhorst in front of Kibby, but these tires are worn now. I'm wondering if these guys on the outside now are not going to pay a bigger penalty. You know, your Donnie Moore looks like he'll be on the outside. Thunhorst will be on the outside, and you know, J.R. Shepard, who we thought was going to lose some points here. Well, guess what? He's right behind Thunhorst and Kibby again, so that point differential has shrunk considerably.
Well, John, if intense battling has anything to do with tire wear,
it does,
or not being in battle, the 2 drivers that I have seen that have had the smoothest race this entire, what would we be here, this entire 80 laps almost, would be the leader, Austin Belke, and the guy in second, Donnie Moore. They seem to have not had really much hassle of anything other than just hitting their marks and racing. I think is going to be a hard call for those guys behind to have much for those guys who have been out front.
You know, I agree 100%. You know, it's going to be about how you launch coming out of turn 3 here and getting into turn 1. You know, if Herzog can keep to Belke's bumper, that will hang Donnie Moore out. But if they can launch and both get a little bit of separation, Donnie can dive right back down in front of the 57 before they even get through turn 1. And that's what Donnie's probably goal here on the restart is going to be, is trying to do that. But now for the rest of these guys, Thunhorse, Kibbe, Shepard, they only care about each other at this point. They all want to just beat each other. Those guys are all points racing. I think Austin's already missed a race, so he's just trophy hunting at this point. So those three are your perennial favorites for the championship. Those guys are going to battle hard because every point is going to count by the end of the season.
We're talking points. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at one of the drivers in the points championship, and that's Justin Morton in the 9. Yeah, you can change your paint scheme. You can maybe change some part of your clothes there, but you're having another tough race. Pace car is in. We're looking at 19, 18 to go when we go green. Let's see if the 26 of Moore has anything for Belke. Great jump for Belke. Oh, Moore spins the tires. He not only does he have nothing for Belke, he's going to lose second position. He's going to lose third position as the 14 of Kibbe gets in there. And now stuck on the outside is Moore. Man, that did not go the way that Donnie wanted.
No, and Thunhorse is stuck behind Donnie now on the outside, allowing J.R. Shepard to be inside of that number 8 in the car. But look at Donnie. He's hanging tough on that outside.
And now Kibbe with a good run. It looks like he's going to be able to close the deal. Shepard trying as hard as he can. Thunhorse has got to be saying, what do I got to do to lose Shepard, man? There he is again. They touch, they bang. Thunhorse, can he save it? Shepard got into him. He does save it. No! He gets T-boned by the 39. Oh, my goodness. The 8 is not going to be able to be buried in a Jewish cemetery because he got tattooed.
Boy, he sure did. And just I touched on it earlier about how much wheel, you've got to turn the wheel to get through these corners. It doesn't take much of a touch. And JR and the 8, Thunhorse there, they barely touched and it got Thunhorse real sideways there. And Snyder just had nowhere to go. And like you said, just tattooed him right there in the door. There's good news, bad news here. I don't know where they're going to put Thunhorse, but he's going to go all the way back to 12th. That's better than going all the way to the back. But the bad news, 15 to go. That is really not a whole lot of time to try to make ground back up before the end of this race. And Thunhorse is pitting. So yeah, he's going to go to the back, and actually his car was crabbing a little bit.
If you want trouble to happen, you want it to happen early.
Yes.
What that also did, though, Shepard now back into 6th spot. And, we keep writing out because Kenny Kibbe missed the opening round, and you kind of can't really miss a race in this season and really expect to get the championship. I'm not so sure. Kibbe looking at another good points day, sitting in 3rd right now. And ahead of the guys he's trying to catch in the standings, Shepard, Thunhorse, Morton, all in trouble.
Yeah, and if he does make it up, you could chalk it up to the new qualifying system, because now that they're getting more points for qualifying, that allows you could probably, in all honesty, if you can bag a few poles or first or seconds, you're gonna probably pad yourself a race by the end of the season.
Well, we have to talk about what I like to call the even and odd fairies. And I think it's not going to smile well on the 57 of Mark Herzog. Herzog's been having such a great race, but really, he's been in control of where he wanted to be. Now he's going to be stuck on the outside. And I'll be real surprised if the 14 of Kenny Kibbe doesn't get right on the nose of Austin Belke and try to pin that 57 on the high line.
I'm going to agree with you 100%. And, Donnie's probably still kicking himself for spinning the tires. And, the earlier that Belke gets on the gas, the more likely Herzog is to spin the tires, because if he can get it on it early when Herzog still has his wheel turned a little bit and he gets to the gas, it's going to kick that back loose. So, I don't know if Austin's thinking about that, but if I'm on that pole, I am.
Pace car pulls in. We're going to have 10 laps when we go to green. Keep an eye, 3rd in line on the inside, the number 45. I love this series. He had such a bad early first round, but now he's there. I'm talking about Jason Menda. Menda now trying to get onto the inside of Moore for 4th position. Look at the battle for 2nd. boy, the 57 tries to squeeze Kibbe as close as he can. Those guys are racing hard. Kibbe's not going to give up that spot on the inside. Now he has a half car length lead. He gets it done, gives a little elbow to Herzog. That allows Moore to get in there. Moore gets into Herzog. Herzog turns it around. A car going over is the 94 of Tim Shanowski. Oh, sweet sassy Molassie.
Man, oh man. Yeah, Shanowski went for a ride there, and oh, you just got to feel for Herzog having a good run in that In-N-Out burger car, and oh, so close to the end.
It all goes for naught. And Shanowski up on the wall keeps the tires down, but it was a tough one.
Yeah, now you like to talk about the In-N-Out. That's going to put Kibbe to the outside of Belke, and I think Kibbe is going to be a little more formidable being on that outside. If he can hold Belke down through one in round two, he could present a problem for him. But you know, just because I'm proud of myself here, but you got to look back who's sitting there in fifth. That's that 44, Jeff Harden. Something told me he was going to do good tonight.
We've been monitoring him. We check in on him from time to time. A very quiet drive through the field. We saw it early. We saw it back in 12th, and then he's up to 7th, and now he's up to 5th. And on the inside.
Yeah, and like I said, I was around him in the previous race, and he was real consistent. And consistency in all three of these corners, that's what you have to do to go fast here. And I saw it in Herzog, or not Herzog, but Harden there last race, and he has definitely continued it. I'd even say he's a little quicker here in the super late model than he was in the Tour Mod.
Scroll that camera one spot forward above the 44. There's the 45, Jason Menda. Man, he was stuck on the outside early on. It looked like he was going to have a tough race. Stick around long enough. He's irked his way back up into 4th. I don't know if he's going to be able to hang in there because the 44 is going to be a row behind him and on the inside. And then, John, you talked about the outside. We saw Kibbe make the outside work already, but I don't know, we're making it work against Austin Belke. That's another thing.
Yeah, and this late in the race when tires now are at their worst that they've been, he did it probably close to 30, 40 laps ago, and there was a whole lot more good on those tires. Now it's going to be a little bit more difficult here, and you know, but if anybody can do this, Kenny can get it done.
The lights are off the pace car. When we come around and go green, we'll be working lap 97. Round 4, the Bootleg Racing League's Super Late Model Series from Concord. Boy, they are lined up 2 by 2, and it is a tight 2 by 2.
And this will be the last restart, too.
Kibbe waiting on the outside, trying to time it just right. He has nothing for the 24. Belke with a good jump. Kibbe does not duck it in. He wants to see if he can get some momentum on the top side. And look at that, he does! He's a half car length in there now. He's a 3/4 car length in there, but I don't know how long he'd make a look. Look at the momentum he gets on the outside. Now he falls back in behind, but it almost worked. Let's see if he tries it again.
Oh, we got a big...
It's going to be all she wrote. Oh, my goodness.
Menda. Oh.
Menda got a little bit of help from the 44, and then it was an octopus putting on socks, everything going everywhere.
And watch the 9 of Justin Morton. Almost gets through and gets neck-coated. Not even hit, but neck-coated around. And is going to fall out of being in the top 10.
This was not so much a race of speed, a race of survival. Oh! And missing all the excitement was our leader, Austin Belke.
Oh, Justin's going to get his spot back, it looks like. Maybe?
They try to sort it out. We are on lap number 100.
That is a huge break for Justin. Huge. But look at Donnie Moore, man, bringing it home. He's going to be on the podium. We're going to get to talk to Donnie.
That's good. some of the big names a little farther back, out of the final corner. Welcome back to the Virtual Grip Network and our coverage of Round 4 of the Bootleg Racing League Super Late Model Series. The results are in from Concord. Let's go through it right now. The record so far this season for leading from the pole was 25 laps. Well, that one has been crushed, put to a record that will never be broken as Austin Belke went wire to wire, leading all 100 laps. Kenny Kibbe worked his way from 10th up into second position. He's going to get himself some nice points for today. Donnie Moore, a great conservative run, podiums for the first time this season with a third. Well done. J.R. Shepard, he's up, he's back, he's up, he's back. When it's all said and done, he finishes in fourth. Jeffrey Harden talked about the run through the field, 18 to 5th, and very clean in doing it. Another one of those back and forth races for Justin Morton, but sure enough, it looks like maybe the livery change might do it as he got himself a 6th. Tim Shanowski, wow, we saw him sideways for a while on 2 wheels, but he's managed to get a 7th. The Butcher of Baton Rouge, Joseph Snyder in 8th. Joe Segala, a quiet 9th position, and Ruben Altice, 14th to 10th. John?
Yeah, Ruben Altice rounding out that top 10. Finishing 11th, though, is one of our title contenders. That's the number 8 of Matthew Thunhorst. Nice recovery after a late incident that sent him to the back. Behind him was Chris Davis, then by Mark Herzog, who's probably tonight's hard luck winner. Running top 5 right until the very end there, and gets 13th out of for his troubles here today. 14th is Bruce Pearson. 15th will be Chris Wolfson. 16th will be Jason Menda. Matt Shanowski, who we saw take a heck of a ride a little bit later on in that race, he's going to finish 17th. Todd Liston will be 18th. Adam Shane's going to round out the field in 19th tonight.
There you go. You want some good luck? Come and talk to us during the practice session interview. We did it for Austin Belke. We talked about him being on the pole, and it was managed that Belke was able to grab himself a win. Let's bring him in right now. Austin, congratulations. Hey, you told me the bottom line was the way to go, but Kenny Kibbe almost made you a liar there.
Yeah, he did. The top line really started to come in towards the end of the race. I was surprised how well he was able to kind of hold on the outside.
You're out in front. The only thing you really had to worry about was some lap traffic. That give you any trouble?
No, everybody was super courteous. To be honest, the only trouble I really encountered was myself. I almost blew this thing a couple times.
They wouldn't let you go. Now, when you were out in front like that, be honest with me. How hard were you racing? Were you 100%? Were you racing 95? What's the story?
It's really hard to tell what percent I was. Definitely below 100 for sure. I'd probably say around 85. The problem is, it's so easy to overheat the tires in these cars, and it's so hard once you've overheated them to get them back into that optimal temperature range, pressure-wise. And that's where all the grip is. As soon as you overheat them, they just continue to get hotter and hotter and hotter, and then you're just going to slide around more. So it's really crucial if you have a gap or at least a little bit of a buffer, you kind of just manage that. You don't want to pull too far away. The times I did, I looked up in my mirror and realized, like, oh, I guess I have a pretty large gap. Maybe I should back off.
Four races, 4 different winners. Congratulations on that. Who do you want to thank?
It's a long list of people. I got to start off with the good Lord, my parents, my wonderful girlfriend, Jacqueline. She's the person that the car is made up after. So I'm very happy that we could give this car a good run. I was going to be happy to just get a podium at the end of the race. I got to thank Lowell for putting the league on. Gargamel's Kitchen, they're a wonderful partner for us. They do an amazing job here. We're working on getting them some window banners, I hope. So that should be a good time. You guys are putting on the show. Ryan's doing a great job up in the booth, as are you and John. So these broadcasts are always awesome to watch, and everybody here that makes BRL what it is. It's a big group of friends, and we all have a good time on Saturday night.
Oh, man, you're loading me up with ammunition. Jacqueline, she's getting a shout-out next race. Congratulations. We'll see you down the road.
Thank you, buddy.
All right, John, there you have it. Austin Belkey, our pole sitter, our race winner. Who you got?
I've got our second place finisher, Kenny Kibbe. And Kenny, you know what? I'm proud of you, man. You were uptight, running the cushion. At least it looked like an asphalt cushion up there. How did you discover that you could make that outside work?
Well, I mean, that's a line that I've used in the past. Just depends on the car and the setup, and it was really, really tough to make it happen, John. I'm not going to lie, in this car. But you just have to, like the key thing is like when drivers in front of you are checking up, especially like on restarts, that bottom line checks up a lot, and you can really take advantage of it. I was finding a lot of drivers were kind of under driving turn one, which is good for tire wear sometimes, but I felt that the difference was enough to where there was sometimes a case where I could maybe get on the outside of them. And then if you get on the outside of them, you do have to be really aggressive with it. You got to take as much of the track as you can, cleanly. But then once you get down to turn 3, you got a little more banking to play with, and you really get bogged down in these cars specifically on the bottom in turn 3. So if you could be side by side with somebody off of turn 3, you can have the drive off and hopefully clear it. But man, it was tricky.
Well, man, you put on a show coming through the field there. I'd like to see that thing finish green to see what you could do. But, man, I tell you, what a good run tonight. And building momentum, this new qualifying thing with points and all that. I know you missed a race, but, Kenny, I don't know that this championship's out of your reach. Where years past, if you missed a race, forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because, a lot of the guys that are in it for the championship are, getting qualifying points every single week too. And, we've been fast in qualifying and kind of, gaining 1 to 2 points on a few other drivers just about every week. But I have been actually having a blast not even focusing on the championship this time around. And I think it's actually helping me maybe drive a little bit better, to be honest. I missed that one race, so I'm going to go in every week kind of assuming that I'm out of it. And just kind of going for trophies, and it's kind of helped my mentality just to go out there and have fun and race hard. But yeah, I mean, whatever happens kind of happens. But the sad thing is I am going to definitely be missing at least one more week. So I'm kind of just going for trophies. And as far as the qualifying thing goes, I know it puts me back when I qualify well, but it's just kind of I just like to try in qualifying the best I can just to see where I can line up, I guess.
Yeah, but it's good to have bragging rights if you're a quick qualifier or top 2. It's good for the ego and confidence. So absolutely. It's a shame you're going to miss another race, because I was going to be following you all season to see if you couldn't catch him, because I was actually thinking you were going to. But that's all right. We can still watch you, go trophy hunting here the rest of the season. But I tell you, another good run, second place. Who would you like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just everybody at the Bootleg Racing League for coming together every week like we do. And I'm really glad I got to race at Concord. It's one of my favorite tracks. I know a lot of people have a love-hate relationship with it, but I really enjoy it. We always run well here. Congrats to Austin running really well tonight and picking up that win, and with his special paint scheme there. And thanks to you guys at Virtual Grip Network for putting on the awesome broadcasts, and Gargamel's Kitchen for being our sponsor and continuing to do that. That's exciting news for BRL there. And yeah, we had a exciting, stressful race tonight, but had a good result.
Well, congratulations again, Kenny. We'll see you next week, hopefully. And that's our second place finisher tonight. That's Kenny Kibbe. And now I do believe Soup has caught up with our third place finisher. That's Donnie Moore.
I'm excited to do this. I haven't talked to Donnie in a long time. Donnie, you had the 26th, the ASPCA special up there. Started in second. You kept it up there the whole race.
How are you, Soup? I kept it up there for almost the whole race.
Yep.
Yeah, that after that long green, that restart messed up. And Herzog made a little mistake there, and I get to the inside, and then we door slammed. I felt bad about that. I'm not sure if I came up a little bit. I have to look at that, but yeah, it was a good run, I guess.
Well, maybe you can take solace. You weren't the only door slam that went on this race. So there was side-by-side. There was some good side-by-side racing out there.
This tricky little track. Yeah, this is good side by side for a little while anyway. Yeah, it's tough to pass. So I was fortunate to with the invert to be able to start up front there.
Hey, Donnie, I want to ask you, as long as I've been doing this, you've kept the same car number, but more importantly, you've kept the same sponsor on the ASPCA. What is your association with that? Are you just an animal lover, or do you have some connection?
No connection. Why change? Just always had animals. Animal lover, I guess. Sure.
All right. Well, it's working. Congratulations on this. Who do you want to thank?
Oh, of course, Gargamel's a great sponsor. I just heard that they're on again for next year. Excellent sponsor. Thanks to them and old Joel for putting this all together, keeping it all together. I think he doesn't get enough credit.
That's to say the least. Congratulations, man. Best finish of the season so far. Let's see if we can do a little better next round. Thanks a lot.
Nice talking to you, Soup. Thanks.
Donnie Moore, your third place finisher today. He's sitting fourth in the points. He's going to move up a little bit more. Well, probably not, but he's going to get a little bit of distance between the guys that are chasing him. You know, we'd like to thank the good folks at Gargamel's Kitchen. You've heard each race driver talk about it. Man, they really do help us. They're a food-grade nitrous oxide provider located in Denver, Colorado, and a proud sponsor of the Bootleg Racing League. Donnie may have let the cat out of the bag, but of course that's because he's ASPCA, so he doesn't like cats in bags. But they are going to come back for a few for next season, so that's great to hear. Thank you very much. We sure do appreciate their support. Hey, if you like what you saw tonight, join us again next Saturday. That's October 22nd. We'll be back without the Thunder, I think. That's going to be at round 5 from Irwindale. My goodness, that's a racetrack just down the road from where I live. I wonder if I can do it live from Irwindale. But before then, the next VGN broadcast is going to be Tuesday night, October 18th. I know it's a school night, but you want to stay up and watch it. It's going to be at 8:15 Eastern when we bring you the Pretty Good Racing League from a track built on sand and broken dreams, Las Vegas Speedway. So you don't want to miss that. As always, this has been a production of the Virtual Grip Network. So until next time, have fun storming the castle.